Welcome y'all to the City of Keystone Heights monthly council meeting. It is August 4th, 2025. I appreciate all of you being here tonight with us and also our viewers that are watching via video live. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and Pastor JT, are you here to do the invocation?
Mr. Wright is going to do it for us today.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this evening that you've given us. Lord, I thank you for this great city that we live in. Lord, I thank you again for this country that we live in as well. Lord, I ask that you just bless our decisions tonight. Lord, give us wisdom, give us understanding. And just be with us tonight as we go through our procedures, and Lord, just help it to be a blessing to you. Lord, in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Kessler, pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Booth, can I get a roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Vice Mayor Kessler.
Here.
Councilman Welch. Here. Mayor Runruck.
Here.
Councilman Lewandowski. Here. And Councilman Knight.
Here.
Thank you. Do we have any public comments? General public comments?
No one submitted any forms, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. We have a public hearing ordinance, PUD, for Sunrise Estates. And what I'd like to do is to begin a public hearing for the first reading of proposed ordinance 2025-01, titled An Ordinance of the City of Keystone Heights, Florida, rezoning the property consisting of approximately 13.88 acres, more or less, owned by Wiggins Construction Company of North Florida Incorporated, located off of Sunrise Boulevard, and more particularly described in Exhibit A, legal description, Clay County parcel reference number 19-08-232-0022578-001-00 PUD. Planned unit development to PUD. Planned unit development to create the Sunrise Estates PUD specifically described in Exhibit B, written description, and Exhibit C, site plan, and providing finding by the City Council, providing directions for recording and setting an effective date. Mrs. Fleet, can you please provide the staff report and recommendation?
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Mayor.
Thank you.
As you said in the interest of the ordinance, the applicant is Joe Wiggins. He's also the owner. It's Wiggins Construction Company of Northeast Florida. He is here if you have any questions. The property is located off of Sunrise Boulevard. It's 13.88 acres. It was previously in 2022. It was rezoned to PUD. At that point in time, the PUD was approved for all 52 single-family dwelling units. Since that time, the ownership has changed, and Mr. Wiggins owns it now, and would like to develop it for 60 residential dwelling units. That would be 44 single-family detached, conventional single-family, and then another 16 would be single-family or attached or townhomes. And those could be in a building of 6 or 8 units, but they would be attached units, unlike the single-family where they have side yards, each individual separately. But that's really the change, and because we're increasing the number of dwelling units as well as the type of dwelling units that was approved back in 2022, that's why he has to go through the PUD to PUD rezoning, because the attachment of written description that's in the ordinance as well as the site plan. And I wanted, before we get too far, the site plan that was attached did not show the 60 units, so I have a layout, we're gonna get a better one for the ordinance for your second and final reading, but at least you can look at it.
And Ms. Fleet, just because this is a public hearing, hasn't been an issue so far, but Ms. Fleet's working as a contractor for the city of Keystone Heights. And just to be clear, she has done work for Whitney Construction in the past, and we discussed the possibility of any type of conflict, and she's representing the city in this case, and we didn't believe there was anything that would arise or a problem, but we just wanted to make sure that the city council and the public was aware.
Thank you very much, Councilman. So you can see the layout, which will be included in it's in this ordinance, but we're going to replace it with this one that shows the 16 units. And so you're approving, if you go through your packet, we show where it is. Basically, it's at the corner of Sunrise and Paradise Point. And existing land use on the comprehensive plan is residential. Right now, you only have one residential category, which allows both single-family attached and detached, according to your existing comp plan, as well, and the zoning is PUD. I reviewed it in your staff report. It's a consistency of this development to your comprehensive plan, and it does meet your comprehensive plan policies. So it is consistent with the comprehensive plan. It will provide water and sewer by CCUA. So they would and the developer will have to pay all the costs for extending the water and sewer to serve the development. That's on his nickel. But it will get you water and sewer in that area, which is, and he couldn't probably do this size lots if it was not done. If you didn't have water and sewer, just because the size of lots, you have to have at least a half-acre lots in order to have that. And these are going to be about 6,000 square foot lots, so you need to have water and sewer. It's not in the flood zone. There's no wetlands on the property. You previously approved a tree mitigation plan back in your June meeting that he will have to comply with, and I'm going to go over my recommendations and that. Based on those facts of consistency in the comp plan and consisting with the neighborhood, the recommendation from staff is to approve the application based on what was submitted on February 28, 2025, and that also is in your packet. He must comply with the written description and the site plan submitted, and he did submit this site plan in the application. There just was two, so that's where the mistake kind of happened. And he will, as I mentioned, he needs to comply with the tree mitigation, and he'll also kind of have to comply with all the articles that are in your land development regulations, which is section article 14, which is specifically section 17, 145 through 17, 151, which is the land development regulation codes relates to development of single-family attached or townhomes. The Planning and Zoning Board heard this application as a recommending body to you on June 16th, and it was recommended for approval by the Planning and Zoning Board, 4-0. There were only 4 there. But they also wanted to make sure that if there was any conditions that were in the original 2022 PUD ordinance, that you have to comply with that on top of the one staff is recommending. And questions, and as the applicants here also.
Council, any questions for Ms. Fleet?
I've got lots.
I have a question, concern also.
All right, go ahead.
You got a list? You probably got more than I do.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Okay. The only concern I have, if we turn this sideways, I think north is State Road 100, as I understand it.
Basically.
No, well, okay.
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of diagonal.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is Sunrise.
Yeah, okay. Where's State Road 100?
As she's showing you, it's to the left.
Yeah, if you look at your, the land use, this map here, which is, so this is the property,
Right.
this is State Road 100, so there's got those
Okay.
intervening properties.
Okay.
So yeah, what's nice is, and I rode around there again today, because what we like whenever there's a development, we like to have a lot of options for transportation. And there are options. When everybody, all this development, the 60 units are gonna come out on Sunrise. But they can go to State Road 100, or they can go down Nightingale. They have different ways to disperse the traffic that comes out of that development, depending if they're going to the high school, wherever they're going. They don't only go one way, which is good, because if you were to do and I'm not a traffic planner or traffic engineer, but I've seen enough plans, they want to see how you disperse traffic, and they just make assumptions. So many cars are going this way, so many cars are that way, and so that's good because she gives people options when they leave this development.
So people wouldn't, parents, for example, wouldn't be coming out on State Road 100 to take their kids to school.
Hopefully they would go back internally.
Yeah, yeah. All right, that's really the only, and it's, I guess
Yeah.
it doesn't bear on the permitting or the ordinance, but longer term, yeah, I'm the worrier about traffic speeds and traffic control. And State Road 100 is just gonna get a worse and worse nightmare.
Yeah. And I did ride around there today just to feel how you would come from the high school, in the elementary school, there's the park, so as I said, there's traffic, which is good, there's dispersion. You don't have to only go to 100 to get back to wherever you need to go. You have other options.
Thank you.
Okay, so, first, just to clarify, our agenda says that this is for ordinance, 2025, -612. However, the actual ordinance that was on the online was 2025-608. Which one is it? 612 or 608?
608.
608. Okay, so our agenda is incorrect.
Yes.
Okay. Second, online exhibit C was the old diagram. So online, we have the incorrect site plan. Okay, so we absolutely have to fix that if we're gonna do this with the new site plan.
Yes, Councilman, that's what Ms. Fleet mentioned that we would have done for the second reading. She was mentioning that.
Right. That's why I passed you out that, because yes, we realized it was the wrong attachment.
Okay. All right. Do we have anyone from the planning and zoning committee here today? No?
No, sir.
I mean, I was there, I can answer some questions possibly based on.
Okay, so when I reviewed the minutes of that meeting, there were concerns about many things. Not too many, but some. Such as the sinkhole.
So, I don't know that they were concerned about many things. The sinkhole issue was brought up, but that was also brought up during the original approval of zoning into a PUD back when Mr. Ducker owned the property. And at that time, I believe it was Mike Bell, had gone through and had some testing done, and based upon his testing, he was confident that that was not a problem for this property.
And it did alleviate some of my concerns to know that the sinkhole was located where the retention pond is going to be, not where any house is going to be built. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, and I would and I'm not an engineer also, but I do remember that discussion, and when they do this, when they actually dig for the retention pond, or they do for the roadway, I am almost guarantee you that the civil engineer is going to require the geotechnical engineering to make sure
They do soil
they
compaction
just
studies.
compaction studies, and they'll make sure that's appropriate, that we can ask if there's a concern. Since this is a PUD, which allows you as a commission, the council, to give conditions, if you would like to see a soils report, you can ask that to be, you can ask the developer or the applicant to provide you a soils report prior to, issuing a building permit or approval of the roads and the drainage. The water management district will approve their retention pond, but you can ask for a copy of that soils report, which isn't uncommon if you have that concern.
Mr. Wiggins is in the audience. Are you already going to do a soils report of any kind?
Was she,
Yeah, do we want to wait till Mr. Wiggins respond to any questions or concerns, or do we want to bring him up and just go ahead and have Mr. Wiggins do a
Because I knew he was
presentation?
next to do a presentation.
Okay, if you could just address that when you come up.
Okay. While we're on the topic of sinkholes, Dan, do we know that there is in fact a sinkhole there? Or is it a possibility because that pond would be in line with other known sinkholes?
So I'm shooting from memory, which is not always a good thing, but when this was originally discussed in 2022, there was an allegation that a sinkhole had been on the property and that it had been filled in. And then even at that time, the geotechnical information that was brought to the council showed that even where it was believed to have been, not where the person said it was. So they did do testing on both places, and it was determined at that time, at least what was provided to council, that that was no longer an issue.
Thank you.
Okay, on page, I don't have a page number for this, but there's a binding letter on Sunrise Estates. It sounded to me like a bunch of legalese that I did not understand. I'm wondering if you can explain to me why this is here.
so in a PUD, because as I said, you can put conditions on it as well as tied to the site plan and to the written description. It is saying that if for some reason Mr. Wiggins were to sell this property, that anybody that purchased this property would have to comply with the same conditions, that they can't just decide, well, we're gonna blow this, we don't care about it. So that's just standard in a PUD, if you pull it up in Clay County or anywhere, that you always have that binding letter, which is saying you were saying that he's basically gonna have to disclose it if you were to sell it, that it's a PUD.
Okay.
Is a nice way of saying it, am I correct?
Okay. Let's see here. Any other notes I have or questions? With regards to the 2022 PUD, is the adoption of a new PUD making the other one completely obsolete? Or do the requirements in that PUD still apply and only are changed by the new PUD?
So what happens legally is you don't amend a PUD, you have to actually rezone from PUD to PUD. So I would suspect that if there are conditions, as a precaution, the conditions that you wish to remain, you would just articulate as part of the motion to adopt, not at this meeting, but at the next meeting, that any prior conditions that are not inconsistent with the proposed changes, which essentially are moving from 55 single-family homes down to, I think it's 52.
44, single family is 16.
And then adding in the multifamily as well. So separate from that amendment, which is the bulk of what this is, you can make part of the motion that those other conditions remain.
Okay. Well, here would be my concern. In the previous PUD, there were 8 exhibits. And we only have 3 in the new PUD. And I was not able to, it was not included, the 8 exhibits from the previous PUD. So therefore, I was not able to see what was in the previous PUD and whether or not any of that should be included in the new PUD. And,
My understanding is the expectation was that those prior conditions were to remain. It was only the change in the number of single-family lots to include the ability to build some multifamily.
and I would like words in the new PUD that say something like that.
And that was the condition that the planning and zoning asked, which is that any of the previous conditions recommended, they recommended all the conditions by staff, which was 1 through 5 on your staff report, and the additional condition that all the conditions of previous PUD
What part is
rezoning
that
be
in?
complied with.
Where is that in the new
That's
PUD?
in the on the last page of your staff, the staff report on page 5 of the staff report. That is the planning and zoning recommendation. The staff has no problem with that.
That came from, Steve Hart?
Yeah, that's.
Okay, so I like that, but I
It's
don't,
minutes of the-
I do
Yes.
not see it in the new PUD.
No, so, as I said, a PUD is like conditional use is the best way of saying. So staff originally recommended 5, and then planning and zoning recommended a 6th. And so their motion included all 6. So that's, and staff is fine with that. So basically, if you agree with planning and zoning, you would recommend the 6 recommendations.
Okay, so if we agree with the planning and zoning board, then this PUD will be updated with that language that I just said I would like to have.
Yeah, that's, it's one of the conditions, yes. We will make sure that it's listed like that.
Okay.
And I think those are stated in the minutes from their meeting as well. Those additional
I've read that, but I didn't memorize it.
It's okay.
Sorry. Okay, then I think I'm happy. Well, I understand now.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? Ron?
Councilman, we'll also make sure in the agenda for the next meeting that we get all the 8 attachments from the previous PUD into the agenda so they're available for everyone to look over.
Please, yeah, so just to make sure. Okay.
Okay, so now we will open the public portion of the hearing, correct? Is that how you want us to go? If anyone in the audience has any questions or concerns?
Madam Mayor, I think we give the applicant a chance to give a presentation and we can go into some
I know, I
questions.
see that
or
was
comments.
next. Correct. Yes, Mr. Wiggins, please come up, thank you.
Good evening, Joe Wiggins, 91 Branscombe Road, Suite 14, Greenville Springs, Florida. So we've been building in the area for a number of years. There are no, or if there are, they're very limited multifamily options. With the industry the way it is, we felt this was an affordable option for people, either starting out or, retiring. And this isn't going to be like an apartment building. These are going to be 4 fourplexes, each with a 2-car garage. So it's going to look like a house, not to me like like an apartment. And we're just converting, 8 of them, but it's 8 of them converting, and they're separating the commercial from the single-family residential area. So the location, I think, is prime in Planning 101. It's something that you'd want to do is put the multifamily in that location. So other than that, soil testing, I can address that. We feel confident in Mike Bell's report, but while we're clearing, we can look at that if that's a condition that you still want to pursue for that area. We don't mind adding that. Other than that, I'm here for questions.
Do you want to?
The intent is just to provide another housing option for Keystone. We have a larger piece, and this could be kind of the testing ground to see if multifamily is wanted, or needed in this area.
Mr. Wiggins, for more than a decade, we have expected housing to be built on that piece of property. And so, personally, I think it's great that you're doing it. And creating the townhomes gives us a little more variety in price points. And so therefore, it does open it up to socioeconomic diversity.
Exactly.
The concern is to make sure that our public services can meet the demands of the new people. And so if we're talking about 60 homes, and if you say 2 to 3 people per home, on average, I think is 2 point something or other. And let's go to the maximum of 3. We're talking about 180 new people inside the city of Keystone Heights, which is somewhere just north of 10% population growth. And that kind of increase shouldn't be too difficult for our school system. CCUA has already said they can handle the water and the sewer for us. Clay Electric can handle the electric. So besides traffic, which of course will increase, there shouldn't be much of a problem with our infrastructure at all, in my opinion. My curiosity is, what price point are you looking at for the townhomes versus the single-family homes? If you have that in mind, I'd be curious.
It'll be 250 to 275 with today's market would start the townhomes. Yeah.
Homes 250,
Yep.
275, okay?
The single family could start at that 275 to 300 and probably go to about 450.
Okay. Very good. And then, always when you go through projects like this, there's unforeseen things that happen. And I would just ask that you try to do the right thing. I don't want to be onerous with financial burdens on you, but at the same time, if there's something you can fix for a cheap price, then please do it. You know, just take care of the people. Thank you.
The only things that I have, I guess, is concern a little bit, and I'm 100% for it. We need it. We need versatility for our citizens. We have a lot of young 20-year-olds who can't afford a house, and, we'd like to keep them here. We don't want them to leave us. But I do think about, like Dan said, up to 200 or more residents now all of a sudden. It's good to know that, like you said, Janice, you can go out on 100 or come out on Sunrise. But is the additional traffic and the safety there, I could probably see potentially, I don't know if there's going to be the need for a red light traffic study potentially. I saw in the minutes that they were talking about a study they did a while back, but may not portray what it would be like when it does come together. But that's the biggest thing I think about is traffic to that area, increased traffic. But I'm very excited. I was in on that very first thing in 2022 in the audience and heard everything that the previous owner stated. And I know what you've been here and through, and now here we are, like, what is that, 4 years later, 3 years later? It's kind of nice to see some happenings with it. And I've seen your work. I've looked at your website. I've seen your townhomes, what they look like. I have no concerns about how nice that they are going to look. Like you said, it's not going to look like an apartment complex. And I know a lot of the residents here get really concerned. They threw their arms up at us at one of the Heritage meetings about the facades and, is it going to look like St. John's? And, everything that I saw that you've done, I thought it was, quite impressive.
Thank you. We plan on being around for a while, so we want to make sure everybody's happy.
Good?
I don't have, I was here for the first around, so I know what's going on and all that. Like seeing him do it, he's a great builder. The traffic, they say it's gonna be all right. There's stuff that, he's doing everything he can. It's just the way it's going to be.
Thank you.
So now, does anyone, the public, have any comments? Yes, John?
Good evening.
Good evening.
John, I was Chair of Planning and Zoning. I also had the privilege of watching the video dated 6/22/22. That's where I got my homework from. That's where I based my questions from. And we are left with the undeniable fortune of increasing our population, which would increase a lot of other things to come in the area. It does bring some impact into our area, and some of those things don't fall within Mr. Wiggins' purview, namely the traffic. The traffic goes to FDOT. For that, we would need to ask FDOT to help us out with the traffic control, the traffic measures. Part of our questions also involved around pedestrian traffic. The sidewalks there really aren't adequate, and even if we did have sidewalks there, good luck trying to find a kid to walk on a sidewalk. They would much rather walk in the middle of the street. There's nothing we, as a community, can do about that. It's something that the parents are going to have to be mindful. With 180 odd people coming in there, you can roughly guess 2 cars per adult, or about 180 cars going up and down that road at various speeds. There is traffic control in place, there is speed humps in place, there are speed zones in place. So as far as potential liability for us as the city through the planning and zoning, we've done everything we can to protect our citizenry. And I understand we also lost a seat at the FDOT council down there. Maybe we could try and get that back somehow to put us up there in the forefront of their thinking to increase our presence. Because I am concerned as a grandfather having kids walking down the street with the traffic right there and the lack of pedestrian roadways for them. You got anything for me since I was in that chair and had a chance to do all
I
this?
think what you're referring to is the seat we lost was at the TPO
TPO,
The TPOC.
on that CEO.
Yes,
Transportation
that's it.
Planning. So we've developed, or we are developing a close relationship with TPO and FDOT, because especially the corner, they're the ones who came to us to buy that corner to improve traffic safety. They're the ones that found the traffic issue and asked us to buy that corner so they can improve that corner. And so we have contacts, and I think if we ever sense something that needs to be looked at, we certainly could reach out to them to take a look at it. I feel very confident with that.
Yeah, I would encourage definitely something in that area. It's not needed now. It will be needed when the 60 units, before the completion of all 60 units. I'm excited to see it go in.
Me too.
Madam Mayor, I think for us as a council, Sunrise Boulevard is what we need to focus on. And whether or not we need to repave that, whether or not we need to add crosswalks, sidewalks, because I can see kids and even adults walking to Hitchcock's.
Oh, yeah. They still do.
Right, and so we need to focus on Sunrise Boulevard.
And we already focused, just put a brand new court in the pickleball court
We did.
in the park there. So our folks are over there regularly and can certainly take a check and see how things are, the condition of those things like you mentioned.
You do have your Public Works Division that has their headquarters down there.
Right. So they're down there quite a bit.
And so this would be part of our capital improvement program. And we need to think years ahead about what year, how much it'll cost, and when we might make those improvements happen.
And it's already in our CRE plan as well, improvements for roads.
That's not in the CRA district.
I know that, but I mean, even in the CIP plan, as we've been talking, road improvements, I think is also included. It's roads and
For the
sidewalks.
CRA area, yes. Sunrise is not part of that.
No, I know.
TPO identified in the 2024 study for the city that that area had walkability issues where Sunrises would be located. So I'm sure they would be more than happy, based on prior planning, to work with the planning and zoning board and others to
We have
resolve that situation in the future.
We have a workshop coming that is scheduled dependent upon the city with what's going on internal, as far as their budget and anything else going on. When we sit down with our workshop with Ms. Fleet, we can definitely discuss that in our strategic planning, because that is what our workshop is going to be focusing on, is our strategic planning and our outlook. I won't forget.
I welcome that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's even a bigger priority now, we're moving forward with this subdivision.
We good?
That it?
Sir?
I just want to say thank you for meeting with each of the council members in the past. I don't know if you've met with the two new ones yet, but
Not yet.
I really appreciate your openness to talk to us about things.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, information is a two-way street, and we believe that the best possible decisions or the best possible outcomes can only come through the most effective form of dialogue, regardless of the media. It could also be in print. Okay, appreciate it.
Doctor, right?
Whatever you wish to call me. You can call me late for dinner, just don't ever call me late for a drink.
Okay.
We good?
Thank you.
Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt, I'm sorry.
No, thanks for being here, John, appreciate it. Okay, so this ends a public hearing, and do council members have anything they want to, any further things they want to discuss with regards to the application for ordinance? All right. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion that we adopt the first reading of ordinance 2025-01. Is that the right number?
Yeah, 608.
Thank you. And set the public hearing for the second and final reading of the ordinance for September 18.
With the planning and zoning board recommendations.
Yes, thank you. Okay.
The staff conditions and the planning and zoning board recommendations.
Okay. So we accept the planning board, we do recommendations.
And staff, so you have 6 conditions.
Thank you. Subject to adding the former conditions, yeah.
Second?
The second motion.
Any further comments? All in favor?
Aye.
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 5-0, motion carries. Okay, so let's see here. Now we are going to have a public hearing for the adoption of an update to the community redevelopment plan. Mr. Booth, can you please summarize the proposed plan?
Yes, ma'am. So if the council recalls, on the, I believe it was the 23rd of June CRA board meeting, the board recommended the adoption and the movement forward of the redrafted redevelopment plan to the city council. Subsequent to that, to make sure that we met all the requirements of the statute, we did notify the taxing authorities via mail. We have return receipts on those. We did announce this meeting and discussion of this public hearing in the newspaper. And so this is potentially the last stop to get this one adopted. As you recall, the previous plan was drafted and adopted in 2015, if I remember correctly. One of our board members was significantly involved, or one of the council members was significantly involved in that draft, so it's been about a decade. The new draft focuses on 4 major project areas. The first one is streetscape and parking improvements. And so these initiatives focus on enhancing roadways within the CRA, including South Lawrence Boulevard, Commercial Circle, Sylvan Way, and others. Some of those improvements include update to the parking facilities, enhanced landscaping, hardscaping, and wayfinding, sidewalk reconstruction, ADA access or ADA compliance for sidewalks, and general roadway enhancements. The next area, sorry, let me get back to the right one here. The next area is park improvements, and this category includes both upgrades to existing park facilities and the development of new amenities and activities to attract visitors and improve community use. Parks targeted for the improvements include Keystone Beach Theme Park, which is this area right here, Natural Park, which is just across the road to the west, portions of the Rails to Trails corridor that are within the CRA, and then a potential new pocket park downtown. A pocket park just being a very small park that you can do in an area that's less than an acre. The third area is economic development. These projects are designed to stimulate economic growth and support the goals of the CRA plan. Proposed initiatives include the organization of festivals and community events, providing landscape and facade improvement grants for local businesses, or actually continuing those, hiring an economic development / downtown manager, marketing and branding campaigns, offering development incentives, and developing a CRA-specific website. And then the final area was infrastructure and facilities. This is infrastructure investment will support long-term redevelopment goals through both upgrades and new construction. Proposed projects in this area include property acquisition for redevelopment purposes, planning new facilities such as City Museum and Visitor Center, and then transformation of overhead utility lines to underground systems. Obviously that would be in the CRA, but also for the city outside of the CRA, look at that for other city infrastructure. So that's, I pretty much just read the entire CRA plan. And so we do appreciate Ms. Fleet keep making it very succinct, as opposed to, I think the first one in 2004 was 60 plus pages. Councilman Lomondowski, I think he clocked in at 8 pages if I remember correctly, which is pretty good. And Ms. Fleet made it 1, so we appreciate it. And that's all I have, Madam Mayor, unless there's any questions of me.
Do you all have any questions?
Just to clarify, this does not make the previous plans obsolete. This clarifies, adds to, right?
Does it replace it?
A lot of the previous plans dealt with what we call the finding of necessity. The reasons that you have a community redevelopment area, we agree that those still exist. This just, that your projects moving forward need to fall in these areas. So this allows us that when you do your budget, that I know you're doing coming up and long term, that you make sure that they fall in these areas. So it's more succinct on what you're going to be moving forward. So the other ones are, the background if that's included in those other plans is still there. That's because that's why you have a CRA. If that makes sense.
Okay.
But it's not, I guess, binding in any sense as far as financial audits and so on?
For the current plan?
Right.
So where it would be binding or where statute, some of the more recent legislation that didn't pass at Tallahassee was looking towards not allowing any future projects if they weren't specifically identified in the updated community redevelopment plan. And so what we tried to do, what Janice and the entire team tried to do, was look at what is the entire breadth of everything we're looking at doing in the CRA and make sure that those 4 areas cover them and are broad enough that any project that we would want to seek in the future would fall into those categories to give us the flexibility moving forward.
Okay.
And this puts us in a better light because from everybody I hear is we need to be talking to our legislators now about maintaining CRAs moving forward because it's going to keep coming up. So this gives us a better light because now when you do your budget for this year and then if they try to do the same thing again next year, you'll have a framework to do long-term projects.
So this solves one of the audit findings that was in the report, and we won't be, I guess the previous, whatever they were, recommendations are not auditable, so to speak.
Right. So this is easier because yes, if you have a project, we got to go back to this list and say, okay, yes, it falls under economic development or it's a park project, whichever it was. So it's easier for that audit to tie it back to your plan. Yes, sir.
And the specific question you're asking about, we've had repeat audit findings, it'll come up in this audit as well, is that when we moved into the next fiscal year, funds remaining in the Community Redevelopment Trust Fund weren't targeted specifically as we move those funds forward. The statute requires us to identify what project they're going towards. Establishing and approving this plan allows us in September, when we have funds remaining, which we will, to specifically to carry forward in the next year, we'll identify by project area what those funds are being carried forward. So we will eliminate that future audit finding for the fiscal year. I think we will successfully do it in the fiscal year 24-25 audit and the 25-26.
Perfect. Thank you.
Would anyone in the public like to make any comments or have any questions? Okay. All right, so I will end the public hearing and council members have or want to discuss the proposed CRA amendment?
Well, how about I move that we adopt the amendment to the Community Redevelopment Area Plan. Second. Now, discussion?
Any discussion? No? Can I get a second?
I would hear you say. Already did.
Oh, you're sorry, I didn't hear that.
Sorry, I'll stop whispering.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Now we move into the consent agenda. Items 7 through 19 on our agenda today. And do you all see any items that you have for discussion?
Afraid I do.
Okay.
So let me first talk about the applicant, Tina Bernal, for the pavilion bridal shower. And my only question is that for a resident, we have a requirement for a $100 deposit, and I don't see any notice on here that that deposit was made. Is this a separate alcohol request from an original pavilion rental?
Councilman, I'm not sure on that one. I'm gonna give Wendy a second to take a look here. She's pulling up the calendar. Take a look at it. Councilman, which agenda item is this one?
This is for
I know we have
August
two.
16th.
This is item 8 on the agenda.
Item 8, thank you.
That's when you're talking about Burnham, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I bumped their numbers. Okay, I'm with you. It's Burnham Pavilion Rental.
For the
Yeah.
bridal shower.
Yeah. One agenda, it's number 7, another one, it's number 9.
It's when I did the scripting, I bumped the numbers carried forward wrong. I apologize.
That just changes. That's just something, you know, how do I say it? We just need to be consistent, treat everybody the same, everybody pays a deposit like they're supposed to, just,
The only thing I can say is I think that was put on before the deposit was processed,
okay?
and I will make sure that it has been.
Okay. Yeah, because if this is simply an add-on or addendum so that alcohol consumption can occur, then the deposit may have already been deposited.
Right.
But I don't know what's going on, and I just want to make sure we follow the rules and do what we're supposed to do.
So, whatever the will of the council is, there can be a motion, whether if it's to approve, provided that the required deposits are paid. Or have to be.
Okay, so that would be an amendment to our consent agenda.
Well, you're not, you've pulled something from the
Okay,
consent
so we'll
agenda,
pull
so
it
you're
out.
handling that separate,
Okay.
and then you'll go back and address the remaining.
All right, so I'd like to move that assuming there was a deposit made, or if not, if a deposit is made, then I recommend we approve this request.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. That's good. I'll pass this to the city manager, but my kudos to our bookkeeper. The May and June financials look really good. I mean, in two ways. One is the city's doing really well. We have more income than we budgeted for, we have less expenses than we budgeted for. So financially, we're in a good spot right now. But the attention to detail, the completeness of the May and June reports, really outstanding work. Please pass that on to our bookkeeper.
I'll let Ms. Deputy Coleman know. Thanks, sir.
From the June 9th City Council meeting,
Item number 11. On the main, not on our notes, but on the main one.
Sorry.
Sorry, it's number 10 or number 11, so depending what sheet you're looking
yeah,
at.
depending which one number.
June 9th is item number 11 on the actual agenda.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm with you, sir.
All right. For those April financials, I had asked back at the June meeting if our budget amendments had been included in those financials. And I don't have an answer back from that yet.
They were. I recall we had staff discussion the next morning and they were.
Okay.
So I apologize that wasn't communicated to you.
Okay. And so I would assume then that the May and June will also reflect those amendments and
Yes, sir.
we're all good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you anticipate that we're going to need any further amendments before the end of the fiscal year?
Not on the general budget, though I will bring, really to address a repeat finding on the CRA audit, I do plan on the next city council meeting to bring an amended budget for the CRA for the city council to consider for approval. It will allow us to address one of the agenda item findings, or excuse me, the audit findings where we're supposed to make sure that we take our approved budget or amended budgets for the CRA to Clay County just to make sure they're notified.
Okay, so I know the city council has to approve the CRA budget. Do we need a separate CRA meeting to go over that first, though?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we will need a CRA meeting first.
No, I appreciate the catch.
Okay.
We'll add that in.
Okay. From those same, I think it's from the same minutes, we had a topic on the Keystone Beach septic to sewer conversion. I have not heard in the last 2 months anything about that. Is there anything coming up later in the meeting about that?
Just for, I know Bo's coming up, for clarification, it's converting from a septic storage tank that then gets pumped out every month, and making sure that gets connected up to the sewer main. Bo?
Yep. So essentially, as Jamie said, we're essentially looking at tying that into the sewer system. We have not received enough information yet, but we'll be bringing that to you hopefully the next meeting coming up. So.
Okay.
And the reason I clarify that, Sorry, Councilman, the reason I want to clarify that is that the pavilion is not on a septic tank.
That's correct.
Right there by the lake. It's a sewage holding tank that gets pumped and out, so there's not a septic tank that's right there. So it's not actually a septic to sewer conversion. Yeah.
Yeah, but we were talking about, we were having to get it pumped every month.
So is that the
So
the
that
bathrooms?
has slowed down a bit, as we rent the pavilion out and the bathrooms over there. So that has slowed down just a bit. But at some point in the next month or so, I should have enough information, enough proposals to give you to make an accurate decision on what we need to do going forward. I just don't have that information yet.
Okay, and is CCUA willing to help out with the cost of this?
That I don't know.
Then we allocate.
They make money from this. I've never seen them help out with it.
CCUA will accept the infrastructure once we build it. That's the way they operate.
That's a good answer. Yeah.
All right, so there's that one. Ms. Deidre, have you seen the minutes from the Heritage meeting?
Excuse me?
Have you seen the minutes from the Heritage Commission meeting?
No. We didn't meet in July.
So this was back
June 17th.
The last one, yeah, probably.
While she's reviewing those, if your intent is for her to review those, Madam Mayor, could I ask a question or two?
Sure.
I'm actually a big fan of rolling everything into the consent agenda, and I know that, you know, there's kind of a curve, we've got a transition that's still underway, but I would like us to tighten up the time frame of what we're reviewing, because we had a span of several months there, and we need to tighten that up, I think, a little bit, because it got to a point where I was looking at a couple of things, and I found myself listening to hours of recordings, going back, double checking, looking at my own notes, and then saying, you know, honey, did I come home and did I tell you this happened? Have I lost my mind somehow? And so, I think it would be good, maybe if we could, you know, I know there's a little bit of lag based on how we do the financials. Tiffany's doing great work. Everything that Councilman Lewandowski said, you're doing great work. You are not paid enough to sit through a 2-hour meeting on a Friday, even once a month. You know, he's been put through it prior to tonight's meeting. But I do think going forward, it would be good. I know you're cleaning up some things you inherited that way, but it would be good to maybe if we could just be on a 60-day, 30-day window, tighten this up a little. Because 100, you know, we can't help 160, 70 pages when we have projects and things, but we're getting months of materials and minutes and financials.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't been looking at the budget and other things that were going on, I remember seeing where you asked that question that you brought up tonight. And remember kind of thinking about that as I was making my own notes related to the budget. But that's to me, that's a little dangerous there. I don't think anybody here in this room would do anything untoward, but we need to have a little closer tracking of that. That would be my strong suggestion, if you will.
Yeah, I think, and I agree, it's a lot of stuff. And the biggest problem has been July, we didn't have meetings. So this is kind of backlogged from, so we didn't meet. We couldn't look at what's going on in June or May or whatever came forward. So I think maybe, in looking at, I know, and Jamie, you're really great at looking at these types of things, is trying to keep it, because we don't want folks to sit here for 3 hours either. And maybe sometimes we need to go to 2 meetings in a month based on the materials that we're looking at. We're going to continue to have projects that's going to take time. And, you know, we want to have the time to ask questions as needed. So I think maybe we just look at, there's just so many items that we're going to have on the agenda, and if we can't get them all, we're going to have to move it to another meeting and have 2 meetings.
Once we get caught up, it should resolve itself.
It should, pretty
And-
much, yeah.
and
But I
you're
think we got a
doing-
lot of things coming up. I mean,
Yeah, you're doing records, you got records upgrades that were budgeted for, and then you may have some website upgrades, so that may resolve all of this.
We're kind of working through a bow wave of
Yeah. But I
new
just
stuff.
felt like I need to say something about it.
Well, and a lot of times, your consent agenda is intended to be items that are traditionally routine in nature, and don't have any discussion. So when the agenda is published ahead of time, you can ask a lot of these questions just of the manager, myself, or any of the staff, and that should help your meeting along quite a bit.
So I think there's a few things here. So Councilman Knight, I agree. I think what we should be shooting for is to bring any meeting minutes before the city council by the next city council meeting, if there's a meeting that has happened before that. And so we'll definitely do that. Madam Mayor, I think your comment is potentially scheduling multiple meetings in the month. I'll look through that as we bring forward potential future calendars and get things scheduled and see when we might foresee more council activity.
Yeah.
But I've been hanging around for a little over 6 months, and I don't think we've knocked out one single month without another special meeting for something.
Yeah.
So the council may want to consider, do we want to shift to an every effectively 2-week process or twice a month going forward? But I'll look at it and bring back a recommendation to the council at the next meeting.
Some of this, stacked up on me too. I don't want anybody to have the wrong perception. Because there were some things we deferred off several different approvals. That's how we got to this point. But I just think going forward, given the amount of meetings and things we have, that we probably ought to say that, at least from my standpoint, I'd like to see us get on a month-by-month basis with some of that.
And then and the last one was giving y'all an opportunity to review it and discuss any questions with the staff ahead of this meeting. And we will continue to endeavor to try and get this agenda published around Tuesday of the week prior to allow for more of those discussions so we can address it maybe offline if they're simple fixes.
So next is the Budget and Finance Committee planning meeting, the minutes from July 10th and the minutes from July 22nd. These minutes are identical. And so therefore, something's amiss there. I'm sure it was an oversight by somebody, but I think we need to pull them and we cannot approve them because I think only one of them is correct, but I don't know which one.
Based on the agenda, it just looks like the July 22nd are in twice, even though you have the title separate. So you can still approve the consent agenda, but what will happen is those July 10th minutes will come back on the next agenda.
Okay, so you're recommending that we pull the July 10th minutes and approve the July 22nd minutes.
Well, that's what it looks like we have before you.
I'm trying to find it by title, so.
Which number is it?
I pulled them up.
So on this agenda, it's number 15. On this agenda, it is number 13. So it depends on which agenda you're looking at.
Okay, so item number 15, I'm just opening it up.
I'm looking at the one that's on mine is agenda item 14.
You're saying, yeah, so you're looking, that's what I'm
Oh,
looking
it's one prior to the one I just opened. Okay.
Either 13, 14, or 15.
Oh, I see that they both say July 22nd.
Okay.
And they are, one agenda is pages 50 and 51 in the packet online, and the other agenda is pages 52 and 53 in the packet online.
Okay, so I just looked at proper agenda item 15, which is titled July 22nd, and does have July 22nd's comments, because that's when we did my swearing in, Mayor. And then let me just look at, so that one is correct. Item 15.
See where it says the 22nd.
Yes.
No, here it is.
Yeah, it's the one before, it's the one that's an issue.
The July 10th.
Yep.
Look at what shows on here, C7. So see where it says minutes for July 10th, 25. And then when you look at the actual attachment, the minutes are for July 22nd.
Okay, so that's what the double is. The issue is as we were talking about, it's the minutes that should be from the 10th are not posted.
Correct.
So, okay, so we need to
So that item will just be on those.
revisit that one.
Thank you. All right, the next item has to do with the special meeting, council meeting we had on July 25th. And this was solely to establish our maximum millage rate, or not to exceed millage rate. And I would just like that reflected in the minutes. So at the bottom of the item number 6 in those minutes, we said the council consensus was to set the neutral rate of 3.8847
Should be maximum.
as a maximum,
Okay.
because we could go lower than that. We did not actually set the millage rate. We only set the maximum millage rate.
That's correct.
That's correct.
And so I want that reflected in the minutes.
We can make that amendment, yes, sir.
That's my only comment there. Dr. Zeiser from June 16th, we have minutes. Have you had a chance to look at them? Are you good with those minutes?
No, I'll come to you. Thank you. Do you need to comment on this?
If you only see something really off the wall that's wrong, otherwise we'll approve.
Thanks.
Okay.
Is it?
If Deidre's good with the Heritage Commission, you're good?
Yeah, there's just one small error.
Okay, one error.
It says on page 2 that Keystone has intellectual while Stark does not. That's.
Councilman, I would recommend, I apologize to interrupt, I would recommend that we follow a better procedure where we let the committees approve their own minutes and we no longer bring those minutes in front of the city council for approval.
I'm good with that.
And we can work these with the committees.
Well, and let me just add into that. Part of why I would suggest you follow that process is because we just happen to be fortunate that you have 2 committee members here. I mean, if you didn't have them here, you wouldn't have the ability to get that feedback. So that's why it really is probably more appropriate to have the committees approve their own minutes.
Would you entertain a motion for that?
I don't think you even need one.
I think it's
They can do it through the administrative process.
just administrative.
Just direction to staff.
Okay, so let's, today and all future, pull consent from the consent agenda, any minutes that are not, or that are from the Heritage Commission, the Planning and Zoning Committee, the Growth Committee is. Okay, that's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Okay.
Just see if you're paying attention.
Excuse me?
Just see if you're paying attention.
I try not to.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the minutes? Consent agenda. I
Wait,
think we've done it.
motion, so we've had a little bit of discussion here. So there needs to be a motion to approve the consent agenda with the stated amendments.
I so move.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Next is committee reports, one for solo with Mr. Scott Slater. I don't see Scott here.
Where did it?
So next is, item 22 here is Lake Geneva Restoration Project Contract Action. Jamie?
All right, Madam Mayor, so I wanted to just do a quick summary. We, on the 14th of July, we did the public bid opening for the contract that is looking to remove the trees from the Lake Geneva restoration area. And I'm just going to broadly summarize some numbers real quick. I did send out an email summary, but when we worked this contract action, we looked at Lake Geneva and we broke out restoration areas into 5 separate restoration areas and asked contractors to give us proposals on all 5. That gives us basically options that we could potentially award 1 or all 5 depending on the funding amount. When we had a pre-bid meeting, we were talking to 2 separate contractors. On the day of the bid opening, we only had 1 bid submitted, and that company bid was a total, when it looked across all 5 contracting actions, or all 5 restoration areas, I apologize, it was a total of $1.6 million. Roughly rounded, there were 3 of the 5 major restoration areas were roughly around $500,000 apiece, and then the 2 small ones came in at about $75,000 each. And so when looking at what kind of recommendation, $75,000 each, so looking at recommendation to the city council, theoretically, we could award or could recommend that you award one of those 2 small restoration areas, but you're only talking about, I know the smallest one was 5 acres of restoration, and the other one, I want to say, was 5 to 10 acres, maybe 5, out of 340 acres that we are looking at in the entire lake over those 5 restoration areas. I cannot make a recommendation to City Council to award one of those small ones with almost all the funds that we have available from the county, which was just a little bit shy of $100,000. And so my recommendation to the City Council, which is within the authority that you have in our procurement policy, is to not award this contract or a contract based on this contracting action, just due to the fact that we're not going to get any significant restoration out of one of those small areas and consume all the effectively all the funds that we have. I'm going to make my other comment, then I'll stop giving the staff summary, which is what we would do next. Then I would propose is we go back. One of the reasons for the cost driver for such high numbers that we heard from both contractors, either the 2 in the pre-bid or afterwards, was a requirement in the permit that we received that required us to move all debris that comes from the trees upland of the ordinary high water mark of the lake. That's 102.9 feet in elevation. That would be if a logging company took the tree down. Usually they don't shave off all the branches, cut the top portion off that they don't use, take the log. What they would typically do in a normal area would likely pile that and burn it, and then go sell the merchantable portion of the tree. The permit requirement from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, issued by St. Johns River Water Management District, is called a general permit, and we just get the conditions we get. That's the fastest way to get a permit, and that's what we sought. We didn't understand the cost ramifications in the current lumber market of asking lumber companies to take all of that material upland, and it was significant. It's probably the cost of that alone is likely more than the value of the trees coming out, clearly with the bids that we received. And so what I would recommend is not awarding this contract, allowing us to go back together as a team with the county in coordination with St. Johns River Water Management District and seek an individual permit, which would then authorize either the 3 different ways of doing it less expensively would be either to burn it in place, to grind it in place and spread it, so grind and spread, or to mulch and spread. I know there's some levels of concern with burning. We'd have to look at that and understand what the cost would be, or the mulching and spreading. What that requirement, though, when we ask for an individual permit, is going to take more time. General permits are easy. They just give them to you and you follow the terms of the general permit. The individual permit is going to take more time and to work through. But that's basically where we're at with the funds that are available. That if we're going to get an economically viable contract to remove these trees, we're going to need to go back and seek an individual permit. I'll stop talking.
So essentially, the recommendation from staff is to reject all bids.
Terminate the current bid process.
Well, you went through the bid process, you're just rejecting all bids.
I got you. Okay.
I'll make a motion that we reject the bids submitted.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Ms. Madam Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Booth, do you need any direction from us as far as going back and reapplying for that permit, or are you good?
I think we're good. We've got the right team in place and we've got the coordination every time.
I sure did like the strategy you got there on that.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is the proposal from the Kiwanis for the colors on the boulevard. Mr. Hatch, would you like to come up and summarize your proposal? Thank you.
Madam Mayor, City Council, thank you for allowing me this opportunity. My name is Keith Hatch. I'm a business owner here in Keystone Heights. I own property here at 350 South Lawrence Boulevard and multiple businesses. I'm also representing the Kiwanis, the Lake Region Kiwanis tonight, presenting this proposal to you. As a business owner here in Keystone Heights, I have seen the boulevard change since we bought our building. It's become better and better. It's becoming a focal point of the city for visitors that ride through, for residents that are here. And the Kiwanis have a flag program where we put up flags for businesses. Normally we charge $100 for flag. Those funds, every bit of those funds after the cost of the flag go to our youth programs, put back into the community to service the youth. So I'd like to come and present a proposal to you all. We're calling it the Colors on the Boulevard. It's going to be a proposal that hopefully will pull the city and the Kiwanis together in this effort. What our proposal is to have 50 flags line the boulevard from south side of 100 down to the south point of the beach, staggering the flags all the way down the boulevard. These flags each will be about 8 foot tall. There'll be 3x5 flags, embroidery flags, not printed flags, so they will be presentable. The Keystone Heights Kiwanis will raise the colors on 8 different federal holidays. Those holidays are listed here in the proposal. I hope you all have the proposal. But those 8 holidays are President's Day, Armed Forces Day, Labor Day, Patriots Day, Independence Day, Memorial Day, Flag Day, and Veterans Day. As I said, these flags will be posted about 1.5 feet behind the sidewalk. They will not be permanently in the ground. They have 3 stakes. If you've seen the Hatch Realty or the Hatch Accounting and Tax Service, when we put our flags up there, those will be the flags that will line the boulevard. The Kiwanis will put them up, say raise the colors and take the colors down. They normally stay up for about a week, covering that period of time. What we're asking from the city is that that you allow us or donate $50 per flag each year so that we can raise the flags for the city and post our colors proudly and bring it to a focal point here in Keystone Heights. Any questions?
If Kiwanis is providing the flags and the poles, okay, and Kiwanis is putting them up and taking them down.
Yes, sir.
So what is the $50 expense for?
The $50 is basically a donation that goes back into our youth programs for the kids. Our mission is to change a community one child at a time. We do things such as Terrific Kids, what we call bugs, bring up your grades. So we work very heavily with the teachers, the schools, to help our children become better citizens, leaders in the community.
Sounds like, okay.
If I might, our previous city manager, 2 city managers ago, Lynn Rutowski, she tried to get someone to do this. She offered it actually to me as a teacher for a fundraiser for the aerospace program at QI Roberts, because nobody in the community would take it on as a fundraiser. And she would basically pay, and then we would erect flags for events and then take them down. But nobody would take it on. So this is not a new idea. I'm really happy Kiwanis is willing to do this because the city staff doesn't have time to do this. And it will require maintenance of the flags. Flags will have to be replaced as they're worn. Where I saw this done previously, I think it was in Baldwin, just north of I-10. And it was beautiful to see the flags, just beautiful. I offer this to you. They had installed in the ground cylinders, so that all you had to do once this was set up properly was just go put the flag in, walk down, put the next flag in. You don't have to plant each and every one. And then, kind of like, but they were also There was some contraption, they were like 6 inches off the ground or something like that. So it was buried, but it was also a slight amount above the ground. However you want to do it, but an idea to make it easier for you over time.
So let me, if I can, I like that idea. Our flags currently are just what you said. We put a post in the ground and we slide it down in there. Those flags run us about $150 to put together before we get to the flag. And so we have decided that we'll go, flag poles look great, they stand up against the wind. Ours have never flown over and hit the ground. I will not let my colors hit the ground. They look nice, they hold up to the weather, but they're 3 prongs, you put them on the ground, you stomp them down. You take them up, there's nothing there that anybody's got to cut grass over or worry about hitting a lawnmower blade on or stumping their toe on or anything of that nature. So that's the route we're going to go with the boulevard if y'all decide to, say, honor this proposal.
So from what I looked at the project myself, Kiwanis will initially lose money on this. So this is something that we as a city need to commit to for the long haul, so that it actually does become a fundraiser for the Kiwanis. And I think it's a wonderful thing. The one thing I think the city needs to be ready for is if we need to drill into cement sidewalks at points where there is very little grass, very little places to put flags into grass. And so I would say that we should support Kiwanis with our Public Works Department as necessary to be able to drill in the cement so that we can continue that all the way up to 100.
We'll do our best to try to find that grassy spot.
A lot easier to put those pegs in. I fully support all that you've talked about. I think it's good for the kids, good for the city. The thing I want to be clear on, based on your answer about my question about the expenses, that this would not be just a donation from the city to the Kiwanis, but a help, I guess, Kiwanis defray the cost of doing what you're going to do.
Part of it is to defray that cost. Say after we get past the first year, it's our volunteer time to set up the flags. Okay, we don't put a cost on that. If you want us to, we put a cost on that.
Right.
It really takes those funds and puts it into our school systems, into our kids, into our community.
What I don't want to see happening is every civic organization for miles around coming to the city looking for a donation.
I hear you.
Okay, Rich, you have any thoughts or comments on that? Do we need to characterize this in a particular way to be legal? And
No, I think you've expressed it.
So we can do what we want.
So I'm receptive to everything, and if you come back later and say that the city needs to do something through Public Works or whatever, I'll vote for whatever that we need to do that. I'll just be as blunt as I can be about it. The one thing that I will say that I feel like I do need to say for the other organizations that might hear this is I'm not necessarily completely opposed, given the fact that we're in great financial shape, if we do have some other civic organizations that are well-grounded in the community, such as Kiwanis and others. And they said, hey, Save Our Lakes, other people have relationships and do things. If they did need something, I would certainly be willing to entertain that. I mean, obviously, we're not going to run this as an ATM, but the reality is there is a proven track record with Kiwanis, what they do for the schools and community. It goes right along the lines with everything from CRA to events that the mayor wants to all the projects. And personally, I don't know how much difference in cost we are, but I mean, I don't think it should be a lost situation, putting the flags out for the town for the year, unless we're talking about a huge amount of price difference. Just tell us the price and let's give them the money and get this done. And then that way, because I heard you say you were going to be losing potentially, if I understood it right, some money this year. We can fix that right now unless somebody tells me otherwise. So let's figure out what that price is and let's get you the money to do that important work, and thank you all for what you do.
Councilman Knight, say $2,500. we'll make that up in the coming years if this continues, okay?
So you need 20, with 25 do it?
25 will do it. And I just want to add, also, we will place at the entrance of both ends of the city, so where the flags begin, there'll be a 3x5 temporary sign, and it basically says colors on the boulevard presented by Kiwanis in the city of Keystone Heights.
Awesome.
So I make a motion that we accept their proposal and that we grant $2,500, if I understood it right.
Correct.
For this project. And is there anything else we need to add to that motion, or is that good enough?
I'll second
Mr. Commander, anybody?
So I'm just looking at the proposal that's in your agenda packet. That's $2,500 per year. I would imagine that you want that to come back every year for consideration.
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
And just discussion, although I wish Flag Day were an official holiday for the federal government, I don't think it's officially recognized by the federal government, but it's not a holiday. So I agree with all the days, that's not a problem. Just be careful there, you know, federal holidays. There's Christmas is a federal holiday. So you might characterize it slightly, according to these eight
holidays.
8 observed events.
If Santa wants to have a flag, I'm available.
Take the sleigh.
He's in the house. That's funny.
That's my only comment.
Anything else?
All right. Yep. All in favor? Did you second?
Aye.
Yeah, you did.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And I want to say one other thing. I'd like to say thank you to our new city manager. Beam Street looks absolutely wonderful. It's coming along, so thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for what you do for us.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. Okay, the next item on the agenda is discussion on a contracted support to serve as our public information officer. Mr. Booth, can you please give us a summary?
Sure, and just real quick, not looking for a vote, just looking for consensus to allow me to move forward. We have been looking, actually, former city manager Van Zandt and Drew Bell were looking to address one of the concerns brought up by the council of hiring maybe some staff augmentation for approximately $500 a month in certain areas. One of these was public communication, social media, whatever you want to call it. In this package, we're calling the public information officer. And so Ms. Catherine Wills, currently working at the Clay County Chamber of Commerce, has said that she would be interested in doing it for that fee. And so what remains is just for me to draft up an appropriate contract with the appropriate language in there. Just didn't get it done in time. But she's willing to do that for $500 a month. Many of you probably met her. She knows Keystone Heights. Councilwoman Dudski, I know you bring this up often. Catherine has been down here at Keystone Heights. She was, if you probably met her down at the open mic night. She's been around with multiple visits when Clay Chamber of Commerce brings folks down here. And she's supported us through other chamber events. As a matter of fact, she made sure that we had some very significant members sitting at the table that we went to at a recent meeting that we could engage with. So the Clay County Chamber of Commerce has been taking good care of us. Catherine is a big part of that, so she knows the city. I think we'll make a great addition to the team and be able to jump right in and kind of take our social media, our website up to the next level. I think the team's done a great job at this point, but a few more hours a week will, I think, allow us to get after it. Well, like I said, I don't need a vote now because I don't have the contract. I just want to make sure that we're hitting the consensus of the council.
Do you have any questions?
No, I think that's great. PIO is an Army term. You might look at what other cities call it. Just so.
They call it PIO.
Do they also?
PIO,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right, well then I think we're good.
My only question would be to the mayor.
Yeah.
You know this person and.
Absolutely.
Okay.
She is a ball of energy. She is very smart, very intuitive. She's very connected to social media and to marketing techniques. And, we see some holes in our marketing needs. And I think she's the right personality and a great team player and visionary. So I think it's going to be fun to work with her and help us do better. And it's not just for us, it's for our citizens to know, well, I didn't know that event was going on. You know, we constantly are challenged with connecting with our public on things that are happening. And, you know, we put a lot of money and time into these things, and we want to make sure the public knows about it. But it does take, most of our cities do have folks who focus on just those items, just that job. So I think it'll be a good experience for us to have her on board to help us and direct us, and we'll all learn from it.
Way better than bringing somebody in cold.
Yeah, and we, you know, I 100% support her. She's been very supportive of us.
I see her working at events.
So,
That was my one question.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, I said, if the mayor likes her.
I appreciate that.
Told me some good things, so I wanted to make sure everybody's on the same page.
thank you. So you want to go ahead?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Next is, the next item on the agenda is an update on the tennis court reconstruction contract action. Mr. Wright, can you give us an update on your recommendation?
Good evening, council. How are you? I put a request for a proposal out starting on July 10th. It ran for 2 weeks. We received 3 bids on the reconstruction of the tennis courts. So I'm just going to run through. Excuse me. I'm going to run through these 3 bids with you real quick. These 3 proposals that we got, and ask that you make a recommendation on one of them. So essentially, the first bid that we got, I would consider non-compliant. Essentially, what they did is sent us a proposal to basically give us a tennis court that does not have any finish on it, does not have any paint, does not have anything. It was essentially just tearing it down and leaving it there. So I don't know if they misunderstood. I've had a conversation with, I'd sent them an email back, but did not hear anything back from them. So I would consider that a non-compliant bid. In my 3-page RFP, I was pretty specific about the requirements that we had as far as the tennis courts, as far as the total reconstruction of it, taking it down, re-pouring everything, and making a brand new tennis court. In the past, I know we have refinished the tennis courts, and we're left with the same situation we got. We got cracks in it, tennis balls go from one way to the other real quick. So essentially, we're looking at trying to basically reconstruct these tennis courts from the ground up. I would put for your consideration 2 proposals that I received. One would, I'll just go through these 2 real quick. One was from a company called NYDI. They were out of Lake Mary. They provide court surfaces basically from the Panhandle down to Miami, as I was talking to them, and they're very familiar with what we're trying to achieve. And the other was Court Surfaces, which is out of Jacksonville area. And the Court Services is currently doing the work on our pickleball court and basketball court that we have right now, the refinishing of those. So those were the 2 bids that I received that were comparable. So essentially, through the RFP, the 2 main differences that I got was revolving. So essentially, it's removing the chain link fence, taking the lights down, rebuilding the tennis courts, putting the fence back up, and the lights would be another application on the side of it. So with these 2 applications that I've got, they all met that criteria. The only difference being in the lower one did not put the courts back up. It did not put the fence back up again, which is a cost attached to this. So as I go through this, the only other difference is one company would come in and mill the existing tennis courts, which would basically mill the asphalt and the lime rock together, compact it to its compaction rating that it needed to be at, and pour over the top of that and make our tennis courts. The other one would be completely remove everything, basically take everything out, start from dirt again, and build it back to the way it is now. So a little bit of a difference in application on how they would go about it. So I'll give you the cost real quick. So essentially the cost for the company to come in and mill everything together, compact it to the compaction test, and that he assured me that they would get compaction tested, it would be compacted to the way it would need to be. Their proposal was at $118,300.
Which company is that?
This is called NIDY.
Okay.
And I can provide these quotes to you guys too, so you can look them. So NIDY company out of Lake Mary came in at $118,300. Again, the only difference is they're not going to put the fence back up. Essentially, they would take the fence material down. They would leave the post up. They would do the work inside the fence post. Everything else we need, they would grind. They would mill everything up from the asphalt and losing my place here. Sorry. They would mill everything up, mix it together, compact it to a suitable base. If they needed to add a little bit more lime rock, they would, to get it to the level it needed to, but the compaction would be the same. And Quartz Surfaces, who would take everything down and would put basically take everything out, put new lime rock into the 6-inch base that we're requiring. Their proposal was $169,200. So you're at a difference of $118,300 to $169,200. So it's essentially the difference of basically one company putting the fence back in and starting from scratch, putting brand new lime rock in, to another company that would not put the fence back up, but that would take it down in a way that we could put it back up again and basically repurposing what's already there and compacting it.
What's the life expectancy difference?
That I don't know. I can find out.
And my next question with that would be, I'm sorry, Mr. Booth. Pardon me. I have one question. I'll stop after this. My next question would be regarding the fence. If we put back up that fence, can our team here do that, or could you is there someone local that we could?
We can provide that locally for sure.
Okay.
That's a small
So
cost.
that's
That's a small cost in comparison to the price difference
that
that.
takedown being such damage that it would result.
That's correct. So that was one of my questions to him when I spoke to him. I didn't want him to run through with the skid steer, because then I got to provide all the posts, I got to provide all the materials if it's wrecked.
Life expectancy, I'm sorry.
That's right.
So on life expectancy, I would say they're going to be the same. It's just going to come down to the quality of the workmanship that both companies would do. We looked at that. The only difference is that the reason it's less expensive is they're milling that asphalt and churning it up into the existing lime rock and then recompacting it. And we would expect both contractors, whoever did the work, they're going to need to get it to the right level of compaction before they do the asphalt layer and then all the painting. And so the cost differences is just in the construction technique. I wouldn't, if it was one of our roads or Highway 100 and we run semis over it, I would not like the proposal of milling up the asphalt into it. We're talking about a tennis court that's taking people running on top of it. And so you're not going to have any deflection issues if it's compacted to the appropriate amount. And that's the one thing we'll watch, is when they come in and compact. If you were to select the lower bidder, we would just make sure, we'd watch the compaction process and make sure that it's meeting the standard. So the simple answer is I don't expect any life expectancy difference between the two bids.
Thank you.
So I did get a 1-year warranty out of one, and the other one says I can't remember what terminology they use, but they didn't give me a specific year on it. But
That was Quartz Surfaces, they give you the info on how long the warranty will be?
actually, NIDY gave me, NIDY said specified work, materials guaranteed to be specified and work according to standard practices. That's basically all they gave me as far as the warranty. So Quartz Surfaces gave me a 1-year warranty.
The workmanship and materials.
That's right, correct.
Make sure it stays level and so on.
That's right.
Have you gotten a sense of, did they provide references or did they?
So
talk to somebody who owns one?
So Quartz Surfaces, they did the new pickleball courts that are on Highway 100.
Here.
I'm trying to think of the name of the park. Twin Lakes Park. NIDY provided, they've done work in part of their proposal process, because I didn't know of them, in Nassau County, the Villages, and Sumter County. They've done all kinds of work in there, and they can provide more if we need to. So I think both of them are very reputable. Again, court services we used, that was who we used to, contact through Clay County for the resurfacing of the courts that we have. I had never heard of NIDY. Again, one of the challenges we have here in this far end of the county is finding good people to do work for us. So had not heard of them before, but they found our advertisement. So.
Now, just real quick, I mean, they are, what Bo's recommended is a NIDY, N-I-D-Y.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they are the apparent low bidder, and their construction techniques are not significantly different than court surfaces.
Correct.
And so there's another reason why we would want to just look at following standard practice, which is awarding the low bidder.
Yep. And originally we had talked around the $170,000, $180,000 range for the tennis courts. And that may give us the option for the future lighting that we want to put in, which wasn't included on any of these bids. So that would give us the option to do that if we were choosing.
So the lighting would be a separate type of bid?
That is correct.
Because
Yes,
I've
sir.
had citizens ask me about lighting.
Absolutely. That's the number one thing that we hear all the time is the lighting.
Okay.
But the basket, and that, at that point, the basketball and the tennis courts as well.
So your recommendation is? Which?
My recommendation would be the NIDY out of Lake Mary. Again, for the practices that they use, again, like Jamie said, we don't have tractor trailers running over it, hopefully. That those practices are a standard with the what they call the USTA Universal Tennis Association.
Okay.
It's a standard practice when they're building courts.
And that was the 118,000?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir. 118,300.
I need a motion.
I make a motion for NIDY Sports Construction Company for $118,300 for the tennis courts to be built. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Man,
Congratulations.
Yes!
All right. Thank you, council. I want to tell you how much I appreciate this. I've been working on this for so many months.
Yes, you have.
And I really appreciate it. So I'm looking forward to seeing it done. And your basketball court should be getting painted tomorrow, hopefully.
Looks sharp.
So, depending on the weather. So
As a former tennis player, please find someone to build that fence for us.
absolutely, we'll do
You
that.
gotta have that fence.
As a racquetball player, we will. So thank you, council.
Find somebody.
Well, thank you for your efforts. I know it's been a
Good
long
job.
trudge.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
guys.
Bo.
Good job, Bo. Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is we have Miss Kat Glenn, who has applied to be on the Heritage Commission. And we have reviewed her application and support your appointment. Miss Glenn, are you still here?
I
Bless your
am.
heart, you had to wait so long.
That's okay,
You
I
can
don't
come up to the
mind.
microphone. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure.
I saw your application.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
I moved to Keystone Heights probably about 2 years ago. My husband and I, we have a small family. We love the community. We love the small feel of this community, so we wanted to grow here. And now that we've kind of established ourselves a little bit, I would like to give some of my time to the community. That's why I applied to be on the committee to volunteer. I'm a big advocate for volunteers, and my company that I work for highly encourages us to give our time to either our church or to different parts of the community. So very excited. I hope I do well, and just thank you everybody for your time.
Do y'all have any questions? No? And I know you still work, right? Will you have any trouble making their meetings that they have once a month? I think they've got it like 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
in
the
evening.
time is perfect. I work
Great.
till 5 every day, so that's
Excellent.
not an issue. And I work from home, so
Okay, wonderful.
no commute.
Well, we're thrilled to have you on board with them. It's a great group.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Okay, next is,
You need a motion.
we have to make a motion.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can I get a motion?
I move that we appoint Kat Glenn to the Heritage Commission.
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. So next on the agenda, we have a applicant for the planning and zoning, Dr. Geraldine Robbins. Hello there, Dr. Robbins. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. My name is Geraldine Robbins, and I put in an application for the Planning and Zoning Board. And I would also like to give my time to the city of Keystone Heights. Husband and I have been here 4.5 years. I was born and raised in Tallahassee, Florida. Graduated from the University of Florida, go Gators. I've seen the flag in front of your house.
Oh, yeah.
And we have returned to Florida after not having been here for some time. I have my PhD in public policy, evaluation and analytical methods, which I use daily in my work. I'm a contractor remote to NASA Goddard Space Flight Center. I'm in the engineering directorate. Not an engineer, but I play one on TV. Keystone Heights is, in my view, in a unique position, and the future is here, and I would really like to be a part of that. So you have my application. I have it in front of me. I actually hadn't planned on saying anything until Wendy came up and invited me to say something. So I asked her how much time she had, and she had all the time in the world. Do you have any questions?
No, I just asked the staff, page 93 of the packet, I don't understand, it's a blank document.
Yeah, I got the same thing.
Yeah,
Take a look.
so just, yeah,
Because I
let's tighten that
did
up.
my own document.
Otherwise,
My handwriting is poor.
no, there's nothing on it. It's
Right,
blank.
I didn't put anything on.
Yeah,
On the
blank
top
it.
of it, it says, see the attached.
I was
I will.
able to open your document. I was able to.
Thank you.
Well,
See, I'm not- I didn't see
I
that.
did see this.
Yeah, I don't know what that last thing was. Oh, that's it.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yeah, I have many questions for you. I'm not gonna ask you them here, but I will say that I do support
Thank you.
you're willing to be on this committee, and really feel blessed to once again say I live in a community with people who are living here like you and all the other people in the room. So thanks for
We're thrilled to have
making
you.
yourself available.
Oh,
Amen.
appreciate you stepping up and wanting to participate.
my pleasure.
It's
Thank you.
exciting. We have a lot of good things going on.
I know.
I will chime in, Ms. Robbins is a neighbor of ours on Nelson's Point,
Oh,
so we're reasonably well acquainted.
that's great.
I would, I guess, I'm gonna say this in the nicest way possible, and it's intended that way. The Heritage Commission can expect that Ms. Robbins will show up, having done her homework. She will be prepared and she will have questions.
You mean planning and zoning?
Actually, it's
Planning and
planning.
Planning, she's
Sorry,
planning.
sorry, sorry.
I will, I'm just
Planning
saying.
and
If you want me to, I'll go there too.
I nodded off there for a minute, but anyway, I would fully support her membership on the planning and zoning.
Thank you, Dave. Yeah.
Make a motion?
Yes.
Yeah.
I make a motion to appoint, or not appoint,
Nope, that's right.
to appoint Dr. Geraldine Robbins to the Planning and Zoning Committee.
Now, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion
Somebody with
carries.
that sense of
Thank you so
humor.
much.
Excellent.
I'll get to work.
Okay, so the next item is the Gatorland Ski Show at the Fall Festival. And Ms. Drew, can you give us some updates on that?
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, or good evening. So, the Fall Festival will be September 20th. The Gatorland Ski Company is going to be skiing at 4 p.m. following the festival at Keystone Beach. We have their contract and their supporting documents in the contract. It was reviewed by Rich. He made some adjustments, they reviewed and they accepted it. Now it's for you guys to approve. In that stipulates their insurance. They've given their supporting documents of the types of insurances that they have. Every boat is insured individually because they're individual boats owned by individuals. And then the liability coverage, the last document is the liability coverage. If you reviewed that, the document says July 4th. It's an example of what they will get once you do approval, and then they will actually secure the liability insurance and then supply that to us per the contract.
How much are we paying for this?
It is not being paid by us at all. It is actually sponsored, and AMVETS is sponsoring this event. The last one was sponsored by WD Beck. It's a very wonderful gift that they're doing, and Gator Landscape would like to come as much as we'll have. And they're doing all of this free. That just covers their insurance and covers the wear and tear on the boats. They're not accepting any money for that.
That's great.
It's absolutely amazing.
So, a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, we saw a little head bobbing in the water, and my son sent his drone out there.
Yes.
And it was at least a 4-foot gator.
Cool. We should name it.
Yeah.
Let me know where it is. I'm looking for something for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
There's laws involved.
There are.
There are a few laws.
Just
So
make sure they know.
duly noted. Well, they ski on every bit of water, and they know every bit of water. If it's larger than a puddle, it might have something in it.
Okay, good. All right, thanks.
Can we get a motion to approve?
I'll move that we approve the contract? Is it the contract?
Yep.
The contract with Gator Ski for the Fall Festival.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Alrighty, next on the item is our lease for additional staff space at Magnolia Place, with Magnolia Place, Eastern Heights LLC. Mr. Booth, can you give us an update?
Yes,
Your
ma'am,
staff
absolutely.
recommendation?
So this is the contract that we discussed at the special meeting on the 10th of July, if my date's correct. And some of the issues that were brought up, Councilman Lewandowski in particular, had a few concerns throughout the contract. And so we've basically gone through and looked at any of the concern areas that you or any of the council members present at that meeting had and addressed them to meet the language changes. So the first one, you had a question on the 1,000, I think it's titled something along the lines of shared facility fee. That is $1,000 that we pay, $1,000 the cost of doing some fixes, upgrades, changes to the facility ahead of us moving in.
To suit our purposes?
That's correct.
Okay.
And so that's what that one fee was, and then it is in fact a 2-year contract for those just listening in, 2-year contract over on a facility on Magnolia for effectively three offices at $650 a month for that 2-year period. Councilman Lewandowski, I'm going to do my best to recall these off the top of my head. I probably won't hit all of them, but you can ask me if I miss any. One was that we needed to make a change, so we didn't need to coordinate with the other tenant unit, or the other tenant, which is a church, if we wanted to hold an event. And so we changed that language to show that we would coordinate with the property owner, I'm sorry, Councilman Knight, that we would coordinate with the property owner, not the other tenant. And that, and the other part of that same language was that it would have to be done with a minimum of 30 days out. We said, I changed the language to make it a goal. I forget the exact change, but we softened that language to attempt to get it in 30 days. One of the other areas in there was some language that if we put declarations up, that when we left, those declarations would become property of the leaseor. We took that out and basically changed the language to talk about any permanent changes to the facility would then become property of the leaseor upon our departure. And there was a number of numbering issues that we needed to correct throughout the tail end of the contract that were corrected, and I'm sure there's one or two others, but I've just forgotten them off the top of my head. Parking. We did address 3 minimum parking spaces in the area for the city. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I forgot that one.
It's an important one. Do you have any questions?
Got just one typo on page 9, the bottom, and then the clarification. But on page 9 at the bottom, it says the VWCOG pays the water and sewer and yard maintenance So the tenant will have not costs associated. The tenant will have no costs.
Yep, we'll delete that. And
Just change not.
no, I guarantee you that was me and my fat fingers. I remember typing that one, so I got it. Yep.
Okay, and then just a clarification, we just read here that the Victory Way Church of God pays the water and sewer, but on the very next page, page 10, at the top, it says water and sewer paid by the landlord. Well, Victory Way is not the landlord.
I'll check on that.
That's the only,
Okay. You're looking for just clarification on that?
yeah, just which one is it? Just change that, we're good.
All right.
So I did hear from constituents about this, believe it or not. And so I'm going to, nothing I've said that I'm about to say, Mr. Booth doesn't know about. I actually support us entering into this lease arrangement. But I did hear from constituents. Some of them were very unhappy that we were leasing property. However, pragmatically, we do have to have city business function. It's a necessity. I'll make no secret about it. I have, since the day I moved on Magnolia, thought that would make a great city hall. That's just the chagrin of some others. And by us having a foot in the door, should the status of that location ever change, and should it be the pleasure of the council members to want to do something there in that area, I like the ambiance, everything with it. Planning and zoning can tell us how to do all that. I think it's very useful for a whole lot of reasons for us to enter into this agreement. It gives us max flexibility, and I appreciate the landlord making this property available to us. Ideally, it is, it would be nice to us not need to lease property, but we probably do need to have a little experience in that. We probably do need to do that right now. And the cost is much less than any kind of cost we would be incurring if we wanted to build or renovate our current location. Ideally we would do that with inflation costs where they might go, but this is a best case scenario today. And so I want my constituents to know that I hear them, but I am going to be voting for this. I do think it makes sense, and it's a pragmatic approach at this time.
Yeah, and I'll just add that, and I saw some of those posts as well, and by some folks who actually should know better than what they stated. But the truth is, currently we have 6 employees that work in this building. We have 4 offices, okay? Spacing in this building has been a problem since I moved here. I joined the Heritage Commission. There's never spacing for anybody to land. And you know how it is, if you're gonna do your job, you like to know where you're gonna work. And there's actually labor laws that say you have to give your staffing proper areas to work and healthy areas to work, places to do their job. It's part of our requirements. And to me, when you got already 6 staff members and we know we're getting ready to add at least 1 or 2 more, and we only have 4 offices, we have a problem. So I'm really thankful that Mr. Bell came forward and said we could use the space until we figure out. We know we need a new building. We just got to figure out how we want to go about doing it. Sure. And do the smart thing. So I think it buys us time to really investigate all kinds of options. And I'm really just thrilled that we're going to be able to have something that we can use in that capacity. Any other comments?
I just look at the work we get done, everything they're doing now. When they get more space to be able to, the quality is even going to get better. I'm so pleased that stuff that gets done now. You got to give your employees the ability to do the stuff.
And stay organized, not sit on top of each
You're not
other.
productive. You don't know where you're going to land,
Now,
you're going to
they're
leave space.
working out of a little shoe closet,
Yeah. All right, can I get a motion?
Make a motion to, at least, I'm just trying to think of a way to say it. Make a motion to authorize the city manager to enter into a 2-year lease for the Magnolia Place for $650 a month.
With the amendment as presented.
Yes.
With spelling correction.
As amended.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Excellent. All right, I guess we're moving on to council comments. Speedy? Last month?
Did we have, you said we had?
We didn't have a
didn't
meeting
have a
since
meeting since,
June.
yeah, so
Yeah.
the 4th of July, our Independence Day celebration we had, it was outstanding. Really enjoyed meeting with the businesses down at the pavilion. That was so, that's what I was talking about there, the job that was done there, working out of the closet, you know, how.
Did y'all have the coffee and cars?
Yes.
Just excellent, yeah.
That was great. We're really pleased with the staff. And look at the work that went on down here. I was so impressed last Friday, I felt bad. I was out riding my motorcycle instead of having. Oops.
Dave?
That's got a bad knee, you know, I'd have been here.
It's okay. Dan?
No comments then.
So a personal announcement, an unexpected change in my life. I'm no longer working at the Putnam County School District. I was hired by Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. I will be a professor in Daytona Beach. But this is my home. My wife and I are keeping our house. My wife has a job here. I'm coming home every weekend. And the way my teaching schedule works, I only teach on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I can come back here any Tuesday and Thursday I want to. I've even talked to my department head. It is too late for the fall semester, but he is willing to ensure that at the beginning of the spring semester, I do not have any Monday night classes to teach. And therefore, Monday nights will be just fine for me to come for class. And this is my home. There's, nothing like that. But the fall, I've identified 4 conflicts where I'm supposed to be teaching at this very time that the meeting is scheduled. And so there has been some already movement on the calendar with regards to that. And I appreciate what's been done. And I have also had my department head has said that if I can arrange for testing to occur on those nights when we have council meetings, that he will have someone proctor that test for me.
Awesome.
So I do not have to be there. So with that said, there still may be a meeting or 2 that I might not be able to make in this fall semester, but hopefully by this spring it'll all be fixed and I'll be fine. So I just need to share that with you if you don't see me at some point in time.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yes, the second comment I want to make is, I don't know if you've seen it, but that project, the mural is beautiful. Oh my goodness, they're doing a great job up there. On the flip side, not so positive, is the museum. If you haven't heard, as I said 2 months ago, we needed to move out quickly. You got to strike while the iron is hot. And I feel like I failed because I couldn't get us to move. They have already selected a site. They have a contract to build. They are in West Jacksonville. We lost $3.3 million in cash and artifacts because we couldn't get our stuff in here. And I'm going to get over it, but I'm still grieving. I'm literally grieving over what this city could have had. And I gotta figure out how I did it wrong and why I couldn't convince everybody here. I knew we had to act fast. I knew it, and I just could not get us to move.
She made that pretty clear in her presentations and so on.
I'm sorry. I feel like I failed.
We still have a museum in the plan with the CRA plan.
We don't have $3.3 million.
It's okay. We will move on.
We will never get another offer of
We're still gonna be okay.
$3.3 million.
You know, where I come from, I'm a believer in Carol Dweck, growth mindset. And let me take her whole philosophy because it goes with education and sum it up in a nutshell. And that is that generally no's are not really no's, not ever. It's a no, not today. And just because she's in West Jacksonville today doesn't mean that a year from now or tomorrow that she might not be down here or that museum, or that some other museum might not be here. So I share your frustration with it, and I have had many conversations with her. She invited me to a board meeting on the day that I was flying out of the country. So had I been able to try and say something else I felt would be helpful, I would have done it, but I think you were too hard on yourself in that respect. And I think everyone in here did everything they could do in their best interest. And so we will, you know, as I make clear to her, it's not a no, not ever from my standpoint. I'm more than ready and willing to entertain. But don't be so hard on yourself with that. That's just my personal opinion.
Call me picky, but the idea that she would not submit to a background check was a deal breaker for me. It just sounded too good to be true.
We don't do that to Solo, we don't do that to Kiwanis, we don't do that to Rotary. Why were we doing it to them?
We're not, well, I think that's a conversation. I think we're, in this situation, we're talking about partnering and investing with them, and that's a
They
whole
didn't ask
different
us
deal.
for a dime.
Madam Mayor, would you be willing to do any comments from me at this time?
No, it's fine.
Let me just finish one other thing. I've asked the city manager, when I was on council 15 to 18, 2015, 2018, we adjusted pay at that time. Because I believe we were getting $200 a month or something like that. And I believe we passed a motion that first differentiated the mayor. The mayor does more work than everybody else. And the mayor should get more money. And that was approved. Okay, so the four of us get something and she gets a little more. It's not a whole lot more, I'll tell you that much, but she gets more. All right, and I thought when we passed that, whatever it was, a motion or that there were cost of living increases every year. I think that happened the first year.
I don't think that happened last year too, I think.
I think it's been $415 for the last 8 years
Oh, really?
for us four.
You said you could look
So
into it.
do you look at
I haven't had time to look into it. We do plan on revisiting during the budgeting process in August. We'll look it up. Yes, sir.
Okay, just to let you guys know, I've asked him to do that. Okay, that's it, thank you.
So, a couple of comments. I want to thank the city manager for the work that he did on making sure that the audit process is going the way it should be for the city. I wish I had been invited to that, but he has really, the public does not see this necessarily, what he's had to go through to get that process to where it needed to be. It's not a failure of the city, but we've had to really, you've had to pull some teeth and do some things and nudge some people along, so thank you for doing that.
Yes, sir.
I would say that the public, if they have not looked back at our previous meetings, should do so, especially the budget meeting and the discussion related to the millage rate and the trim notice that was sent out, the workshop that occurred. And it will help everyone to understand where things are. We are certainly, as a city, in a good position, it seems. We continue to be in a good position, maybe an enviable position compared to other cities. And I think we are really in a good spot for the future. And so this is a time for people who maybe are complaining online, who have some different views. It's kind of one of the private reasons why I don't like public information officers, because I feel like I'm not a big government guy. I feel like you get a propaganda aspect out of it. But this is a time as a private citizen where for the next couple of months, if you will tune in, if you will listen, if you will read what is out there, you get a good view. And I appreciate the work that the mayor and others have done at events to bring that out, because you know, if taxes or property taxes do increase, that is not something that we're hastening to do here. That is a function of a property assessor saying your property is worth more than last year. And so I want to make sure that every citizen here knows the address in Green Cove where that person is located, and they know their phone number and how to get in touch with them. And I'm sure that person will not like me saying that, but that is not us. We're everyone here is committed to good stewardship and to doing good things. And I appreciate the work that is going on behind the scenes. In fact, I'm actually concerned as maybe reflected in my comments with our agenda packets and our consent agenda, that there is so much going on so fast, so quick, so many things are turning now that we're almost doing it too fast. And that's we're not there yet, but there's a lot happening at once. And so I would encourage everyone to tell everyone out there, tune in, come down here to these meetings. I don't have a problem with a constituent telling me they disagree with me. That's okay. That's what government's about. So that's kind of where I am, and I look forward to our Florida League of Cities convention meeting this month. It's upcoming, and look forward in due course to other conversations with all of you and to meeting our new committee members.
Excellent, thank you. Well, so July was pretty busy, and I don't think August is going to be any less busy. So first of all, one of my focuses, I'm going to say focus for Q3, is to focus on small businesses' success. And in doing that, I tend to arm myself with knowledge and meet people and go to events, things to get educated further. I did attend a Women's Empowerment Luncheon that is hosted by the Chamber of Commerce just last week. And Miss Julie Davis, who's the founder of the Pure Vita Fleming Island, stood up and gave us her personal journey from being way down here to being a founder, and now plenty of money now to live the rest of her life. But it didn't come without ups and downs. It was really a quite impressive story that she shared with about 200 women at the Club Continental that I was attending. Secondly, and I'll have Jamie lean in more on this, 3 of us council members and some staff attended by VIP invite by the Chamber of Commerce, the legislative wrap-up with Representative Sapp and Representative Garrison and Senator Bradley, and I'll let you elaborate more on that. We learned a lot about what we need to be doing in Tallahassee, not only state level and county level, to get the things that we want, you know, all kinds of things. It could be for the lakes, it could be for infrastructure, you name it. But they gave us some coaching on how to go about things. It's been real crazy in Tallahassee this year. I will be attending the Florida League of Mayors workshop. Some of us are going to the Florida League of Cities part of the meeting, but I will be going to the front end of it that's for mayors only next week. And I will be attending a workshop called Small Shops, Big Brands, Retail Development. These are things that I keep thinking about. Like I keep telling folks, the tsunami is coming. With these lakes coming back, and as soon as we get things done with the, you know, debris removal and the water, you can already see the beach is becoming more and more popular every day. And you see folks bringing up new businesses in the area. I think we just need to be in tune with what we can or cannot do, and what kind of businesses do we want here, you know? I'm certainly all for the small, mom and pop type shops is what I prefer. Also, later this month, I will be conducting what I call the City of Keystone Heights Business Blitz. In the CRA area map, I've identified phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is going to include right about 49 businesses that are going to be right along Lawrence Boulevard up to 100. And I will meet with these business owners one-on-one and share with them details about our strategic plan, resources within our city hall that we can make them knowledgeable of. Sometimes they don't know how to navigate the websites, to how to get a hold of the sheriff's office when they have people doing all kinds of crazy things. When we recently hosted the Coffee and Commerce with businesses, there was a lot of great questions, and Mr. Hatch was in the room with us. A lot of folks asked some really good questions and explained needs. And so these are things that helps to fuel us into doing better. So I want that one-on-one from them just to tell me, and then I will take some surveys and bring that data back to our council so we can still continue to prioritize the things that I think we have needs for the public, for our businesses, and for our citizens. And lastly, y'all haven't looked around a little bit. We've been in a process of trying to freshen the space up a little bit. We got new chairs because the other ones were horribly uncomfortable. Kind of enhanced some of the artwork, repainted this whole dais last Friday, my husband and I. And we'll have enough piece of artwork that's going to go there, and then that big desk is going to go away in the back to make something a little more streamlined. But the goal was to make this room more inviting, more comfortable, and more up-to-date and professional. These cabinets will be removed. Actually, we're going to meet tomorrow to unload those cabinets and get things packed up for storage. And a huge seal is going to go behind us of our city seal with the flags on either side. So I think that it emits a much more professional look and much more comforting space. Our next steps will be to look at audio-visual so that the videography part of it and sound and all those things get updated because they're quite out of date. And that's going to be a whole separate thing that we're going to have to look at the cost in very near months, I hope. That's my report. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was hoping you'd talk about the airport and the Florida Secretary of Commerce and the
Are we allowed to talk about that?
National Drone Association.
That was really exciting.
I don't think there's any reason we can't summarize the meeting.
I think that's
We
huge.
do governance and sunshine, so I think.
So Jamie and I attended the airport and was with the Northeast Florida Economic Group there, a lot of them out of Stark. But we had the Secretary of Commerce and the guy who is the Secretary for Veterans Affairs reports directly to the governor, or both these guys report directly to Governor DeSantis. Also, one of the guys was an economic guy from the state. What do we have, 3 generals in the room and a few colonels?
Generals.
There was about 15 of us, including Representative Wilt from Capital Bank, some other players. Basically, what they are looking at, Camp Landing. So Governor DeSantis has a private road at our airport that transport, when he flies into Blanding, he can get onto that road and go wherever he needs to go in this general area. So what they came to us with, and this gentleman is over the National Drone Association, which is equivalent to the National Rifle Association for the United States. They've come to us asking to acquire 300 acres or so of our property, preferably on the clay side that goes right to that road, to where they could create, where they manufacture small drones that are used for defense purposes. And they said that one of the things they stated was the reason Ukraine is able to hold off Russia right now is because of the drones, and that they are going through over 1,500 a year. Is a large.
Oh, I think they're getting to the point where they can manufacture over 1 million a year.
$1 million a
That's the
year,
number-
yeah.
One of the numbers they.
He said that's what, because they could do that from anywhere, and so it saves lives and all these things. It's also very smart techno stuff. So they're looking at our location out there, and they do not want a big airport, they want a small airport, they want something near a college so that they could work with engineers and stuff out of the college. I said, well, we have one that is right here. That's a good professor, so I got a guy right here in town. And so it was a really, really interesting meeting, and they were actually talking about making it the drone manufacturing site for the United States. So talk about putting Keystone on the map. Right? Kind of.
Yes, ma'am. I think it's a pretty good summary.
It's pretty
And
exciting.
so there were some due outs and to look into different
some things.
alternatives and options. So.
And obviously our own armed services are learning from the Ukraine experience.
Well, already
And
they
all
shipped,
in on,
what do you say, already 7,000 of them to the Army. Every platoon in the Army now has one operator.
I think that's their goal for sure. I don't think they're there yet, but.
Yeah, and he said all the other armed forces have approved to move forward, so they're all in all of them are going to have drones.
DoD's big on drones as well as anti-UAV systems.
It was pretty, it was a really interesting one. Thanks for bringing it up. So, Mr. Booth.
All right, I'll go for the city manager's update. I'll try and be fast. Madam Mayor, you mentioned the legislative wrap-up. I summarized it in an email I sent to the city council members, but if we're looking at legislative priorities and bringing those to our members, some of the things that I took away from broad discussions, listened to many, was we want to make sure that if we're doing that, we probably are asking for things that are below $1 million in any given year. If we think the legislative ask is multiple $1 million, we really need to look at phasing them out over multiple years where it comes in under $1 million. Others have not, and others have failed in their legislative efforts. And so also we want to look at those that we're asking for to make sure that they tie into a state function. Why would we, if it's purely just a city thing, maybe that's not one of the legislative asks. If we're looking at safety for roads, get to schools, that's probably more up to the level that the state may want to get involved in. And so we just need to look at that and understand what the focuses of any current administration are in Tallahassee, and make sure that that ask would align with the efforts or the focus of that administration. And one of the last areas was look at local buy-in. And I thought that means we just need to show that every citizen wants the project, and what they need when they say local buy-in is that the city has set aside some amount of funds to show that the city is invested. And if we're going to ask the state to help us out with a project, we should have some cash that we've allocated to come alongside of the state. So there's no certain number there. It depends on the capability of the municipality, but we need to look at that. And then finally, just broadly, I think the simple summary is property tax discussion is not over at Tallahassee, and they expect to have another robust discussion in the next legislative session. So I think that's my general summary, Madam Mayor. Food trucks, we didn't see the second reading of the food truck ordinance. I'm going to call that out. I missed that we did not get the advertisement in the paper 10 days out. And so we're going to push that to our next meeting. So we'll get that advertised in the paper. And then I think that'll be likely be the 18th of September. We'll readdress the food truck ordinance to try and get the second reading of that put out there. I'm going to call your attention to the updated schedule that we drafted. We did some strike-throughs and some colors, and I don't necessarily need answers because I know we're pretty late, but I'll just call attention to, in September, we obviously noticed that because of the truth and millage process and trying to meet a bunch of different schedules of having to do a minimum of 2 meetings in September for truth and millage in our budget process, that it probably did not make sense to hold 3 total meetings of the city council. And so I'm recommending we strike the 8th of September typical meeting that we would have had, and just hold the first reading and second readings, the first reading on the 18th and the second reading on the 19th of the budget and the truth and millage. What I just recommend is effectively the 18th of September becomes our city council meeting. We put the typical agenda items in there along with doing truth and millage in the first reading of the budget.
You said 19th, 29 is printed here.
I'm sorry, 29th. I apologize. My dyslexia, or whatever you want to call it, when I'm talking in public. I meant the 18th of September and the 29th of September. I apologize. And then in October, we recognized, as it was pointed out to us, that we got to vote to.
So your council meetings are scheduled by vote. You're adopted usually at the end of every year for the upcoming year. So because you adopt it by vote, you have to make changes by vote. So if you want to cancel a meeting, you have to cancel it by vote. If you want to where you add the meetings, you add them by vote. Before you do that, and this should not affect your vote, I just want to let you know I cannot be at that September 18th meeting because that's also when the Bradford County Commission meeting is, and they will be doing the same thing. And that would
It's
make
a
me
busy month
nervous.
for you, isn't it?
It's always a busy month. It would only make me less nervous if we'll have to really go through some what the process is, because that is important for the budget.
So what would be the option then? We can't be here the 18th, is that what you're
Well,
saying?
we could still, the other option would be just still hold and go for 3 meetings and hold the typical meeting on the 8th of September if you want to do that. Or the option would be to vote to move that regular meeting to the 18th. I think it's,
Well, we have to do we know that the county and the school board aren't using the 8th already?
well, the 8th would just be a regular city council meeting. We would not do the budget meetings on the 8th.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, for the budget meetings.
We do know that they are not meeting on the 18th or the 29th. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the 18th or the 29th is clear of other truth and millage meetings.
But the mayor's asking, is there another date other than the 18th?
To do,
The first tentative millage and tentative budget hearing.
I think we're kind of out of options, Madam Mayor. We got these selected based on availability when we were meeting and talking, on the last meeting that we had, a special meeting. We're already kind of pushed back all the way to the end of the calendar. We can't move those any further towards October.
So what do you recommend?
Well, I would recommend you vote and change the regular city council meeting to the 18th to reduce the number of meetings. That's my recommendation, but the other option would be just to keep the regular city council meeting and keep these 2 dates for the budget.
Well, that doesn't solve the conflict issue.
The conflict issue is related to your schedule, right?
Correct.
Okay.
You can't be here on the 18th, right?
Yeah, so the third Thursday of every month is when Bradford County has their commissioning.
Okay.
Haven't talked to them, I'm confident that's when they're gonna have their.
So my recommendation would be for the city manager to meet with the city attorney on like the 17th and very clearly understand the steps in the process so that we do it properly on the 18th.
So we've already talked a little bit about that. I mean, our firm has prepared the budget script that the mayor reads every year. So hopefully with the budget script, as long as we have that in advance, that will be on target with what you need to accomplish.
Pretty low risk.
I think we can follow instructions.
I don't anticipate any craziness to occur, surely. I haven't heard of anything that suggests that.
Oh, it's not craziness, but if you don't follow budget to the T,
Yeah.
you will be printing a one-page retraction, which the press does like. And then you will have to issue an apology, and you will also be conducting your budget meeting again.
And we are locked to the 18th. We just locked that tentative meeting when we submitted into the system just today. So we can't, our tentative meeting has now happened on the 18th.
Let's go for it.
So, Rich, should it be a motion to just cancel the
let's-
regular meeting?
Hold on, let's
Just-
do the green or blue first, so we can do
Okay.
it all in one motion.
Sure. Gotcha. So in October, it was pointed out that we had scheduled both the planning and zoning meeting as well as the comprehensive planning workshop on top of Columbus Day. Generally a bad idea. And so two options that we have. In green is just shifting from, that would have been a Monday if I remember correctly. In green, shifting to that same week on a Wednesday. So moving from the 13th to the 15th and just keeping those two same times. Or the other option would be just to go and push it back a week and hold the meetings on the 20th, same times. So 6 o'clock for the planning and zoning meeting, 6:30 for the comprehensive planning workshop.
So let's pick a color.
Yeah. Pick a green or pick a blue.
Yeah, pick a color.
So,
Colors I can do.
I'm okay right now on those days.
so you're good with both, Councilman Knight?
I'm good with green or blue.
Okay.
They don't clash with my eyes.
Yeah, I mean,
Either one's fine.
yeah.
Do you have a preference, Jim?
No, I mean, I think going to the Wednesday keeps it closer to the scheduled date. So I'd say we go Wednesday, if you're asking me for a preference, but we gotta go either way.
So is that green?
I'm sorry, that's green, yes. Oh no, that's green on black, sometimes hard to read, so green, yes. Moving them to the 15th.
Need a motion, Rich?
Yes.
Okay.
For all the changes.
Yes.
Move we adopt and implement the changes as recommended.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. So we will shift on to the rest of the notes really quickly, talk about food trucks, we did the schedule update. All right, just wanted to point out to everyone, lots been going on the last 2 weeks, lots of hard work by the staff. So we've got, Drew held the Coffee and Commerce down at Pavilion last Monday, excellent turnout, excellent feedback. Pickleball court's done, basketball court's nearly done. The mural coming along very well, as Councilman Lewandowski pointed out. We just repainted the inside of the pavilion after a few years of wear and tear, so it looks pretty nice down there. And as was pointed out, Beam and Beasley Lane has been cleared of vegetation. We're working with Clay County to see if we can get in a local agreement to get in there and do some improvements along those lanes and get it at least leveled out with some compacted material in there. And then finally, I did want to point out, though she's left, Ms. Janice Fleet indicated that there were something called a Community Planning and Technical Assistance Grant that was available. And so I just filed a $60,000 grant request to pay for our labor efforts going through the comprehensive planning process. And so just one of several grants we're looking at and trying to move forward with. But hopefully the staff can not only earn its keep, but pay its way in finding some grant opportunities that are out there and offsetting some of our costs. We talked about the audit statuses. So the city has really 3 audits we care about: the Community Redevelopment Agency audit, the city audit, which is all the other funds, and then the airport audit. The Community Redevelopment Agency audit is complete and has been submitted to the state. And we will have, Wendy, I was trying to remember, we're going to have the auditor come in at the next meeting and brief us on the audit. But the city audit we expect to have tomorrow morning. And we believe the airport should have received their draft audit this afternoon, or we'll have it tomorrow morning. So we should, by the end of next week, be closed out with the state on all of our audit requirements.
Make sure that's an action presented and the council has to approve
And the action item. Okay. And let's see, just wanted to remind any council members, if you want to bring up an issue for the council to consider in any meeting, we do have an agenda item form. I would just ask, I can send it out to you. If you could just fill out the form, it gives us a basic information that we can share with other council members. If you're going to bring up an agenda item, that the council members are read up on what that item may be. And so I'll distribute that form. We have our staff fill these out. That helps us build the agenda. We just ask if you've got enough time, we'll try to get those into the system and the agenda published no later than a Tuesday prior to these meetings. And
That
so,
gets public.
what's that?
So that gets published.
It does.
Out in the public.
We would summarize it and use the information you fill out on that form to summarize what the action item would be, or that any council member would want to bring up during a meeting. And so I just wanted to let y'all know we have that out there. I know we've got some new members that may not have seen that. We've got the truth and millage process. I mentioned we did submit today with the maximum rate around it to 3.9. You may see a slightly different number on the rollback rate as we went back through the calculations and all the information to fill out all the forms. The rollback rate actually came up a little bit. It's more around 3.8, only about a 1 decimal down. And so when we go through the budgeting process, we'll bring that back up. But it's not the exact same number. I think we were talking more around 3.6 when we were talking in those meetings. We found some different information about the payments that we received, and we corrected the forms before we submitted them. And then the last thing I'll just bring up, and I emailed the city council members a copy of Miss Terry Hall resigned today from the Airport Authority Board. And so we will start the process and get it out on the board and announce that we're looking for a replacement board member. And so I'm not sure, I'll look into the process. I'm not sure if we'll be ready to bring anybody to the council at the next meeting, but I'll figure out what the process is and the timing. But I wanted you to be aware of it, that the exact language in the resignation letter is in your emails if you haven't seen it already. Madam Mayor, that's all I have.
Were we already looking for an airport board member also?
The next one would have come due next spring in the normal cycle.
Okay. Good.
Mr. Commander?
So just quickly, as you talked about the need to use land out at the airport, just keep in mind that it's much quicker to lease that property as opposed to selling it. There's also probably restrictions from when the Army actually deeded that property to us.
Yeah, I think we were looking at the lease.
Second, Councilman Lewandowski, not that I would be surprised, has a phenomenal memory. On May 7th, 2018, the council did pass an ordinance that set compensation for the mayor and council. Even though it was discussed that the mayor does more, the compensation was set the same for all five. What was it? It was set at $355. It was to adjust every year. Just to adjust every year based on the CPI-U index, and then rounded up to the nearest $5 amount. So that's already in effect. We just have to go back and recalculate what those salaries should have been.
Your research ability is very impressive.
I have them in my own notes because I took notes for my meetings, as you've probably seen. But I didn't have the ability to go back because all of our old agenda minutes aren't on our website anymore. We only go back to 2023. So at some point we probably want to bring those back. That's all.
Any more comments, questions? 8:28.